Sports fans, we are live. Welcome. Welcome back. Feels so good to be back. Welcome to the Sports Behavior Podcast. I'm your host, OG the Beast, here always with me. The legendary Chilltown 32 Unc. How you feeling?
Running good, brother. Running good. We got some good stuff tonight. Barbershop is open. My man just opened it back up. So we running good tonight. Let's
It's
do it.
wide open. It's wide open. The
Mm-hmm.
barbershop is wide open. Y'all know how we do on Fridays, man. Y'all know how we do
Word.
on Fridays. We just sit back. Like Unc like to say, even if you ain't getting a haircut, just roll through,
Come
just
through.
say what's up. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
come
Play
through.
some checkers, some chess. Just chill out, kick your feet up, eat your McDonald's, whatever you want to do. Uh, but yeah, man, we bringing it to y'all live on Twitch, man. Y'all know how we do. Shout out to the loyals on YouTube. Them guys been really running it up lately, especially with us being out last week. Guys telling me they've been watching reruns. So shout out to them guys over there on YouTube, man. They really rock with us heavy over here, Unc. And of course, shout out to the loyals over here on Twitch. Sometimes Tuesdays for now, and every Friday night, 8 p.m. Central Time. Y'all know how we coming. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know how we rock, and I appreciate y'all joining in. Every single one of y'all that always show support and show love to the channel. Let's holler at some of the guys in here. True Heroes in here. Job Puffer's in here. What's going on, man?
From the
He says
Bahamas. What's happening? The
from the
Bahamas in the
Bahamas.
house.
Ooh,
All right.
lucky
That's what's
you,
up.
my friend. Lucky you. Lucky you. Dubs in the chat from Cooper. T
Uh-huh.
Wolves looking serious, says True Hero.
Yeah.
Unc, you say what's going on in that game right now? The T who winning? Philly up?
It's halftime and Philly is up. But I think the Timberwolves, they got a playoff team, man. They do. They got a playoff team and they're gonna be something to deal with in the future. Yes, they are. They
Yeah, the
definitely gonna be something to
Timberwolves got
deal
a
with.
nice little young core with
Mm-hmm.
Russell and Ant and I always like Cat. I just like it. They was flirting with the possibility of Cat coming to Chicago. I'm like,
I
whatever
know you
y'all
was loving
need.
that.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever y'all need, I got it for you. Like, for real. You know what I'm saying?
Come through.
I'm with it. But to kick the show off, man,
Hmm.
All-Star Weekend to me was a success. It was in Cleveland. And I know, it was last weekend. We didn't get to talk about it, as soon as I wanted to. But we're going to talk about it now. Why not? All-Star Weekend was a success to me. I had fun watching it, as I do every single season, every year. The All-Star game is always great. It was in Cleveland. Cleveland put on a show. The introductions was probably as lit as they've ever been with the Bulls and then the 75th anniversary shit that went down. Dunk contest was Gabricio, which was expected. It's been garbage for a long time, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 performances here or there. They give us little spurts of some shit, like the Zach LaVine one, and it was another decent one that slid in between over the past like 6 or 7 years. So it's traditionally known to be Gabricio. They need to figure out something to do with that dunk contest. I don't know what to expect anymore with the NBA with the dunk contest, but the actual game itself came through. Like, it was an incredible game all the way through. Like, I had fun watching it. And to me, like I stated on TikTok, NFL, take notes. Real talk. Take notes, because the way the NBA runs their All-Star game and NHL run their All-Star game and the MLB do their All-Star weekend and shit like that, like, these other sports got it down. Ever since the NFL changed the rules on how they wanted to do things with a Pro Bowl, it's been downhill, down the drain. So, to me, All-Star Weekend was a success. I had fun watching it, but I know we talked about the 75th anniversary, guys, and it's been a lot of rumblings. I'm gonna throw a little cat, pull a little cat out the bag right now. It's been rumblings with some guys not deserving to be on the list, like not even older guys, like newer guys. Like, a lot of people were making a fuss about recently the Kyrie Dame Lillard thing. Like, people saying even if it's not at the expense of Kyrie, do you think Dame Lillard really deserve to be on this list, considering his accolades hasn't changed in nearly a decade? No playoff success. He's pretty much who he is. I mean, his numbers have been
Well,
kind of consistent, especially on the offensive end, but we know he's terrible defensively. You think he really deserved to be on this list?
well, when you think about what he's done over the course of the decade, right? So, with the exception of him getting hurt this year, every team he's been on, 8 of the 9 years, he's been in the league 10 years now. 8 times in 9 years as the lead guard, he's been the one. He's been the number one guy. His team has been in the playoffs. He's won playoff series. right? Not only has he won playoff series, he took his team to the Western Conference Finals. He wasn't great because that Warriors team was just better. There was nothing that they could do with them. But with that being said, you look at what he's done. Well, how are his accolades better than Kyrie Irving's? Well, Kyrie Irving did win the NBA championship. Kyrie Irving was Rookie of the Year, but so was Dame Lillard. He was Rookie of the Year. Dame Lillard, a 6-time All-NBA performer. You know how I feel about that. I take that stuff very seriously, right? So in the 9 years that he was in the playoffs, 6 of those 9 years, I'm an all-league performer, including being a first-team all-league performer. 27-7 for 6 years, B. 27-7 for 6 years. 5 times. I'm sorry, 5 times he was in the top 10 in league MVP votes. 5 times he was in the top 10. Kyrie Irving, these how many times he was in the discussion. Now, when I look at guys like Dwight Howard, when I look at guys like Tracy McGrady, when I look at guys like Vince Carter, I absolutely think that they have a legit case. Vince Carter, for me, I mean, the fact that you played in 4 different decades, that's enough. That right there is enough for me for you to be on. Because can't nobody in the history of the NBA say they played in 4 different decades. That includes Jabbar. They can't say that. So with that being, when I say that, right, I look at Dwight Howard. Was Dwight Howard elite? How long was Dwight Howard elite? You can make the argument he was the best 5-man in the game for 4 or 5 years. But then he had a drop-off. That's kind of what's going on with Dame right now. But Dame is in his prime, right? Tracy McGrady, we're talking about a 7-time all-league performer. But when you're making these cases, who's coming off at the expense of who? So when I look at Damian Lillard, if you put in somebody on the list, it's not going to be at the expense of Dame Lillard because I was elite at my position for a lot of years. I can't. There's not a lot of guys who can say that they were. So
I'm
I
not
can't say that.
That's
Yeah, I
what I'm
can't
saying.
say that.
I'm not mad at that.
You had mentioned that Kobe Bryant only had 1 league MVP. Well, that don't matter because Olajuwon only had 1 league MVP.
So what
So
separates them two?
What separates them is what Olajuwon did throughout the course of his career. At the end of his career, only player in NBA history in the top 10 in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. These are many people in the history of the game can say that they did that.
True.
Nobody else except Olajuwon.
True.
So when I think about a guy who's been dominant for the time that he was dominant, and not only was dominant for the time that he was dominant, to have a top 5 season all time, which is in the 93-94 season, Olajuwon is definitely a top 10 player all time.
No doubt about that. No doubt about it. And that's one guy that the NBA left out. They didn't put Hakeem in their top 10. They had Bill Russell in there. They had some other cats that I'm trying to think. Who do they have? I think
Jordan, James, Jabbar, Magic, Chamberlain, Russell, Bird, Duncan, Oscar, Bryant.
Oscar, that's who they put in there.
So I'm wondering from you, I'm glad you brought that up. So I'm wondering from you, what did Olajuwon do? Because, by the way, ESPN had a list in 2016. They had a top 100 list. And on that top 100 list, Bryant was at 12. And he moves up to 10. So what did Olajuwon do? Because Olajuwon was 9. What did he do to go from 9 to 13? And you just mentioned it not too long ago about you're allowed to change your opinion provided with new information. Olajuwon been retired since 2002. All right? Oscar Robertson been retired since 74. So what happened between
somebody talked to somebody? Did somebody phone a friend on some Regis filming shit? I don't know what made the NBA change their decision. It ain't like they put somebody, a current NBA player in there outside of LeBron.
Right.
Who did they step aside for to make these type of adjustments? That makes no sense to me. Usually, for the gist of things, right, when people name off their top 10s, usually the players isn't the problem. Usually it's the order. Some people might, for the guys that might have Bill Russell in their top 10, you have to take somebody off. Usually that person is either Kobe or Hakeem Olajuwon for some reason, right? Usually those are the 2 guys that fall victim to people that have Bill Russell and or who did I just name? Olajuwon in their top 10. Mm-hmm. So Olajuwon to me is a top 10 player all time. So usually the players is consistent, but it's where you got those players at. Like the top 3 should be consensus. Mike, LeBron, Hakeem.
Good.
Some people got LeBron, Mike, Hakeem, whatever the case. Not Hakeem, Kareem. I'm sorry, Mike, LeBron, Kareem. That should be consensus. Now, 4 through 10 is where everything gets jumbled up. I seen one list on TikTok. Somebody had LeBron first, Kobe second, Kareem fourth, and Jordan fifth. I'm like,
I'm out. That's none. I wouldn't
like,
even pay no attention to that stuff right there. Now, I will tell you this. KD is now a top 12 player all time according to the 75th anniversary team. Now, I'm not sure what KD has done to be a top 12 player all time.
Yeah, that's tough.
Just like I'm having a difficult time.
Because to me, that's
Giannis.
Disrespectful to Karl Malone. Because who I think is right outside of the top 10. That's who I got at 11. I have Malone at 11. You know what I'm saying?
Malone at 16.
Yeah,
I got Malone at 16.
Yeah, my list I got Malone at 11. So it's like when I'm looking at the top 10, basically it should be pretty much the same players. It's just depending on what order you got it in. So when you say guys like Kobe, Bean, who need to be in the top 10 and you ain't got them in there at the expense of a guy like Tim Duncan, why? Because he got more MVPs? Why? Because he got more rebounds? Why? Like, why is Tim Duncan?
Don't stop there. Keep going. Keep going.
I mean,
with it. Keep
rebounds because he's a center. I mean, but
okay.
Why?
And they obviously going off of when I saw this list. Right? When I saw this list, they're obviously going off winning. All right? Winning is obviously important, which I can get with that logic. I take no issue with winning. So if winning is the logic, then that means that Bill Russell got to be at the top of the list.
I'm saying top 5 minimum.
Russ got to be at the top because winning seems like it's the highest priority because they got Magic at 4, and I ain't got a problem with Magic at 4. I got Magic at 6.
I do.
So
I got him at 6.
You could very easily make a case for Magic being the top 5 player all time. That is not ridiculous.
So what's your team?
My problem that I'm having is Giannis at 18. That's my issue. What has Giannis done? And here's my problem with this, Chris. My problem is if Giannis is a top 20 player now, that means that he became that because he won the NBA championship and the Finals MVP. Which also means that before he did that, he was right outside the top 20 for you.
To give him that boost.
To give him that boost. So my question is to whomever voted, what did Giannis do over the last 8 years before they won the NBA championship to be considered right outside the top 20? Because my question again is, was Giannis right outside the top 20 when Miami mocked them in the NBA playoffs in the second round?
Not only that though, Unc, but this was a good question being raised. What about Oscar Robertson and moving to the top 10? If the criteria is winning, he's got 1 championship on the ass end of his career, but he's got the numbers to support his argument for all-time great status. Don't get me wrong, but top 10? And then
I got Oscar.
You got Oscar where? At 11?
13. I got him at 13.
You got Kobe at 11.
I got him at.
You got him
I
at
got
13?
Kobe at 11. I got Oscar at 13.
Oscar should be top 15, no doubt. He should be top 15. But if the criteria is winning, why would you bump him up so significantly high? Like, because Oscar was outside of the top 10. He was like at what? The NBA had him at 13 last time?
Well, that's what I'm saying. When the list came out in 16, the NBA when the list came out in 16, the NBA had him at 13. So I'm trying to figure out what happened between 16 and today, which jumped him up from 13 to 9.
They probably felt like, hey, we got to move up some of these new cats, so we gonna move up some of these old cats because we moving up some of these new cats. We don't want them getting too close.
If that's the case, then Bryant got to get moved up. Then if Bryant is at 12,
he did get moved up.
He can't go from 12 to 10. That ain't getting moved up. If he's going to go from 12, you got to go from 12 to 7.
I'm saying.
If that's the case. When I look at Giannis, all I hear is, and this is going on for days that I've heard this, that Giannis is a league MVP 2 times. Giannis is
that matters.
A defensive player of the year.
That matters.
Right, and that does matter. I won't fight that. What I'm saying though, Chris, is that he's just done that recently. This ain't sustained success. Giannis won back-to-back league MVPs in 18 and 19, and then he won a defensive 18, 19, and 19, 20, and then he won a defensive player of the year. All right, so right before that, we talking about that was in year 8 when he just did that, right? So Giannis been in the league for 8 years.
He's only 27.
He just did this. He did this over the course of a 3-year span.
Right.
Right? So what about the other 5 years? What did Giannis do to make you say that he's right outside the top 20?
So, they not looking at it like that, and I get why they looking at it the way they looking at it. You shouldn't look at it like that. Whether he got a Defensive Player of the Year in his rookie year and an MVP in his 8th year, it doesn't matter what he did over the span. Listen, because this is why. Because if you could accomplish whatever you could accomplish in a shorter amount of span, and it takes somebody else that should actually be looked at in a higher weight than it would be for somebody that took Aaron Rodgers finally wins another Super Bowl in 2023. Damn, it took you 13 years in between? Like, Kobe, if you look at Tom Brady, it took him damn near a decade before he won another one, but then he won 2 more, 3 more. And he went to the game like 4 consecutive years. So it's like, when you're looking at Giannis, all you're looking at is the totality. All you're looking at is the fact that Giannis got a Finals MVP, he's an NBA champion, a 2-time MVP, and a Defensive Player of the Year. Regardless of if it's in a 3-4 year span, that's what he's accomplished in his career. That weighs a lot. So I understand why they want to put him in it. How many players in NBA history can you say are 2-time MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year, and Finals MVP? How many?
I'm glad you mentioned that. Well, the Defensive Player of the Year, Finals MVP,
all of it. How many you got?
Defensive Player of the Year, League MVP, and
twice.
Finals MVP.
League MVP twice.
League MVP
don't
twice,
short Giannis.
and Finals MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. That's Jay.
How many?
That's Jordan. Lajuan. Wait a minute.
Lajuan don't got 2. He don't got 2 MVPs.
No, he don't have 2.
So
MVPs.
he doesn't count.
That's Jordan. That's it. But here's the difference, though. The difference is, number one, you just talked about Tom Brady. He didn't get back to the Super Bowl for 10 years. With that being said, within that 10-year span, Brady was still that dude.
Right.
You look at these guys in the top 10. You look at these guys in the top 20. One thing is consistent here. Sustained greatness. True. Giannis just got nice.
And they looking at the fact that he's 27.
Right, which means that you ain't there yet, B. You haven't earned that place yet. These dudes that have sustained greatness. We talking 8, 9, 10 years where they've been that. You're becoming that.
Where do they got Giannis at right now?
18.
They got Giannis at 18 with all that shit I just rabbled off. If what you was if this was year 15 for Giannis, he would be in the top 10 off that shit. Just that shit alone.
Why? And you know why he would be? Because he would be more of an all-league defender. We talking about a dude who would be an all-NBA performer more. He would be an all-league defender more. He would be an all-star more. He is none of those things right now.
So they basically preparing you for what the future is about to hold.
That's not good enough. That's not good enough, Chris. That doesn't work.
So what is Giannis's all NBA teams, all defensive teams right now? What do you got? 3, 4?
Okay, so right. Giannis is a 5-time all-league defender right now.
That means what? That's a lot.
5 times in 8 years? That means almost half your career you're not elite. That don't work.
Wait.
That does not work.
So he made the all defensive team 5 years. 5 times.
No. He made the all-league defensive team 4 times. I'm sorry, 3 times. He's a 3-time all-league defender. And he's a 3-time all-league defender, and he's a 5-time all-NBA performer. And he made first team twice. 3 times. I'm sorry, he made first team 3 times. That means he's been in the league 9 years. That means almost half your career you have not been elite.
Well, we got a reason for that, though. He was 17, 18 years old when he came into the league.
I'm not listening to that. I'm not listening to that nonsense.
Did LeBron make All-NBA in his rookie season?
He did make it in year 2.
Did Kobe make it in his rookie season?
James made it in year 2. And not only did he make it in year 2, I've been elite ever since.
Right.
Ever since that, I've been elite.
You think Giannis is not going to make the All-NBA team from here on out?
Not only is he going to make the All-League team, I'm sorry. Not is he not going to do that, I think he's going to win the NBA championship again. But until he does that, I can't put him in that class with those guys who've already had years of sustained greatness.
This is what I can agree with you with. I don't think he deserves 18, but I do think he deserves to be right outside of the top 20, at least a top 25. Because just sheerly off of his accolades alone, and the fact that he's done it before the age of 30 says a lot about you. A lot about you. This is some shit. Like, by the age of 30, Mike had what he has by the age of 30. But it's a high possibility that this man probably gets another MVP or two. I can see him rounding his career out with about 4 MVPs, with maybe another defensive player of the year, because he might win it this year. Like, if it's not for Rudy Gobert, this man might win it again.
I mean, if we're talking about what you just said, like 3 or 4 more MVPs, I've said that
2 or 3
as of right now. Let's say he won 2 more, right?
Right.
Let's say he won 2
very
more.
Possible.
I think Giannis. I think that barring any injuries, I think that he could play at this level for another 6-7 years.
Oh no!
So with that being said,
that's it. He's 27.
Right. He is 27 years old. He's in year 9. So to play another 6-7 years, we're talking about 16, 17 years at that level. That's nuts, right?
Right, but I don't care about the year that you in when it comes.
That's nuts.
I care about your age. That's why when people say LeBron doing this at year 15 or LeBron doing this at year 16, like, bro, he was 32 in year 15. So it's like, I don't care about that. I care about your age. Jordan was in year 15 and he was 40. There's a difference between Jordan in year 15 and Bron in year 15. So I don't care what year Giannis is in. He's 27. So if I'm going off the biological clock, I could say Giannis can play until he's.
You think he got 10? You think he got 10 more years at this level?
37 at this level? No, I think at this level maybe 8.
I got him at 6 or 7. That's where I got him.
He could play 8 years at this level that he's at right now. But when he hits 35, 36, Kyle Lowry is 36 years old. Last year he was 35, giving you 20 and 8. Kyle Lowry, and he was a late bloomer just like Giannis. So I don't see Steph Curry slowing down either. So it's like these guys that's 32, 33, you looking like, oh, they old doing this? Now, LeBron is a rare breed because he was 19 out the gate and he was balling. So it's like with Giannis, he was 19, he was skinny, scrawny, he was a little bit Gabricio. He grew into his body and he figured out how to dominate for his size, strength, and quickness, using his athleticism to dominate. I don't see his athleticism wavering unless injury happens because Giannis is a freak of nature. He's not overweight. He's in hellacious shape, like LeBron. They in similar type shape. If Giannis was Zion and used his athleticism, then I would be worried. Like, okay, you may only be able to sustain this for another 2 to 3 seasons because injury is not. It's not at that point. It's not if, it's when. Giannis is in great shape. He doesn't get hurt. Like, he plays every single game, and he's going to give you 100% every time he steps on the floor. I could see him being this great for at least another 8 to 9 years and then coasting towards the back end of his career, giving you an easy 28 for 3 years before he decides to retire. And that'd be enough to probably approximately – he may be able to get 28,000 points just doing that.
We got to talk about if because I personally think that
and
he keeps up.
Giannis could probably get 10, 11, maybe 12,000 rebounds.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at Giannis as of right now. This is why I'm having a problem with him in the top 20 because I'm looking at him right now and what he's done as opposed to what I think he's going to do. From where he is now, I think that at this level he could do this for another 7, 8 years. And to win another league MVP, to win another NBA championship, to win another finals MVP, we're talking 3 league MVPs. We're talking 2 finals MVPs. We're talking another defensive player of the year. So that's 10 years minimum of sustained greatness. Not only that, we got to start having this conversation with what you talked about. So at the end, when he's at 25,000 points, when he's at 27,000 points, with those other accolades, we got to start having a conversation of him being a top 10 player all time. I know you don't want to have it, but we got to start having that conversation. Somebody on this list, we got to give him the finger and you might have to come out. You might have to come out.
Who would that be?
I don't know.
You got
but
Bill
I can
Russell
tell you this.
in there. Man, I'm telling you about that. You know how I feel about him. He got to come on up out that seat already.
Nah, but like I said, when he's done, from what I think he's going to do, somebody's going to get the finger and, yo, you might have to come out of line, yo, because of this dude.
Who, though? I won't put you on the spot. Who?
Oh, it ain't Bill Russell, and the reason why it's not Bill Russell simply because
hold on. You say you say he could. You think he can win another one? I don't think Giannis. I think it's going to be harder than just saying it. If I had to put a finger on it right now, I got. Let's say Giannis finishes his career. 28,000 points, 11,000 rebounds, 6,000, 7,000 assists, 6,000 assists. Let's give him 6,000. That's what Mike got. 5,000. Mike got 5,000. Mike got 5,000, 5,006, 6,000 rebounds. So let's say Giannis gets 6,000 assists, 11,000 rebounds, 27,000 points. 4-time MVP, 1-time champion, 1-time Finals MVP. All elite 10 times, all defensive team 7 times. Where are you putting this man all time, and who's got to come out? You heard those numbers.
Yeah, we got it. Like I said, now what I'm looking at now is, and you know how I feel about Olajuwon, but we have to have this conversation. And Olajuwon, you might have to come off the list.
Ooh.
Olajuwon, you might have to come off this list, because the list that I see, the criteria more than anything is winning. Bill Russell is the greatest winner. You can make the argument he's the greatest winner in sports history. The greatest. That includes Michael Phelps. That includes Mark Spitz. That includes Jeff Gordon. That includes Dale Earnhardt. He might be the greatest winner in sports history. He's definitely the greatest winner in team sports history, and it's not a question. No question about that. But when you look at what Giannis is doing, and when you look at what he's doing at this age, and he's just becoming elite. He was great not early, but over the last 3 years, but he's becoming elite. There's a difference between being great and being elite. Like Leonard became elite. KD became late. KD was great, and then he became elite. Same thing with James. Giannis is becoming elite. And when I say elite, I mean we're talking about 2, 3 in the game for the next 6, 7, 8 years. That's elite.
Yeah.
Great is I'm in the top 8. I'm in the top 10. You're a great player. When you're talking about the best player in the game, and you got to bring my name up, that's elite. And if Giannis can do that for 7, 8 years, 7, 8 more years, because I think he's the best player in the game today. But if he could do that for 7, 8 more years, and then I look at the guys on this list, because that's this. And
that's
when I talk about
criteria though, too. The guys in the top 10 had to have at one time been the best player in the world.
Well, not only that.
That's another reason why I don't think Bill Russell's in the top 10. I don't think he was ever the greatest player in the world, even in this era. He was never better than Wilt Chamberlain. There was no shape, form, or I don't give a damn what year you pull out. He was never better than Wilt.
Well, even if he wasn't better than Wilt, it was him and Wilt. So it was Muhammad Ali and George Foreman. It was Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier.
But
it was right there.
But we knew Ali was the dude.
We did know he was the dude. But with that being said, we also knew that Joe could be the dude, depending on who you like. We also knew that George could be the dude, depending on who you like. I don't think Bill Russell was a better player than Chamberlain.
Hell no.
You'll never get me to admit that Bill Russell was a better player than Chamberlain.
Even though he was winning all the rings, he's still not bad. You know what I think of? You know what my argument is for Bill against, real quick. This is very simple, right? For why my argument for Bill Russell that he's not in the top 10 compared to current guys or guys that could potentially take his spot, like we mentioned with Giannis. Who's got to come out? You said Olajuwon. I think it should be Bill Russell for your end. He's already not in my top 10. But here's the reason why. Bill Russell, of course, we all say he did what he did in an era in which you didn't have to do as much to obtain an NBA title. I believe you only had to win like 4 games to win an NBA title. Nowadays, you got to win 16, right? So what I compare it to, if I was to put it in layman's terms, I would say, let's say back in Bill Russell's era, the highest level of math was Algebra 1. The highest level of math was Algebra 1. Bill Russell got a B+ in it. Let's say he got an A. Let's say he aced it. The highest level of math in Bill Russell's era was Algebra 1. But nowadays, you got mofos out here acing calculus. So which one is more impressive, the guy that aced calculus or the guy that aced Algebra 1? That's the question and the discussion that we have. If Giannis is acing calculus, but Bill Russell aced algebra, he can't help it that was the highest form of math available. Giannis can't help it that calculus is the highest form of math available. But calculus is an advanced form of mathematics versus algebra being a basic form of mathematics. This guy aced the basic, but Giannis mastered calculus. You see what I'm saying?
Right, he did.
So,
but with that being said, I did ace algebra. Let's make sure we remember too. I did win the league MVP 5 times. Okay, let's make sure we remember that. I did win the league MVP 5 times.
But
in
it's
game
algebra.
7, right? And I did what I did when what was going on during my time was going on. It's not like if calculus was going on, I couldn't learn that. I could have learned calculus.
No doubt.
But this is what was going on when I was. This is what was going on.
But here's my question:
when I was playing.
Would you have aced calculus like you aced algebra?
Given what you have, absolutely, I think I could have done that.
Absolutely not, and here's why: because you aced algebra, but when I look at your game, it doesn't look like you're the type of guy that would have aced algebra, that would have aced calculus if you were given the same tools as me. Now, if you're talking about a guy like Wilt Chamberlain, who also aced algebra, he aced it a little gracefully. You know what I'm saying? He aced it with a little bit more effort. Like, he wrote in cursive.
It looked simpler with Chamberlain. It didn't look that difficult.
Look. At algebra, when you solving your problems, they have you write out what you did to get to that sum, right? To get to that answer.
Show me the work. I need to see the work.
Show the work, right? Well, Chamberlain was showing his work. Bill Russell was just writing the answers down.
No,
the answers was right. The answers was right, but he wasn't showing his work. You know what I'm saying?
How did you get to that? How did you get to that?
There, That's what we need to know. Bill Russell wasn't showing his. He was just writing the answers down. You know what I'm saying? Wilt Chamberlain was actually showing his work. That's the difference. That's the difference. I'm telling you. That's why people look at that era and they say, yeah, it sucks that you only had algebra, but we got calculus, dude, and you don't stand a chance against this dude that's did this. I'm not going to say the same shit you did, but, he's acing calculus, bro. Like, we advanced over here. And, yeah, I do believe in evolution, and I do believe that if provided with the same tools, most players, all-time greats, would be able to adjust. But can you be as dominant as you were in your day, in this day, if provided? Hell no. Wilt, I don't think he'll be as dominant, but I do think he's a walking 28 and 10. If given the same tools he's got, if you give Wilt the same shit Shaq had, the same shit Embiid has, there's no doubt in my mind he'd be 28 and 10 today, 28 and 11, 28 and 12.
28 and 12, that's Joker. That's Giannis. That's the best. We talking about being the best player in the game.
Facts.
That's who he would be.
I don't have a doubt, but Bill Russell shooting 42% from layups.
Which was the going rate during that time.
No,
Chamberlain was just different. Yes, it was. It was the going rate during that time. Chamberlain was just
not
different.
For the best. Not for the best. So what is he? Sir. Is he the going rate or is he the best? Which one?
Bob Pettit, all of them dudes. Chamberlain was the only one who was different.
That's because he was the best. That's why he's top 10 and Bill Russell's not. Because Bill Russell was going rate. Chamberlain was a rare exception.
No,
you proving my point.
Yes. No, I'm not. And you know why I'm not proving your point is because I wasn't great offensively. My all-around game. Let's make sure we remember. There's only one dude in the history of the game that got more rebounds than me. There's only one dude in the history of the game who averaged more rebounds
Why?
Than me. There's nobody in the history of the game
Context.
that averaged 20. I keep talking about, I'm glad you mentioned that. 20 and 20. I'm glad you mentioned that talking about points because I did average 20 and 20 in the playoffs. Not once. I did it twice.
In the playoffs?
Right? I did that
How many
in
games?
The playoffs. I did it twice.
What did you just say?
Twice.
You like what? Giannis can't be in the top 10? Why? Because it's the sustained greatness. How many games did they play in the playoff? 3? 4?
No, it wasn't that.
Yes, it was. To get to look up. I'm finna look it up right now. How many games did it take to get to the NBA championship in the 1970s?
We did in the 60s. We didn't have the first round semifinals, Eastern Conference Finals, and the NBA Finals. No, it was the first round, it was the East Finals, and then it was the NBA Finals. That's what it was. Now, with that being said, we talking about a dude who is the best winner in NBA history. So, give me a break.
I'm not trying to hear that shit. Yeah, he's the best winner, but there's context that needs to be provided with that.
It is context that needs to be provided with it. I was the best rebounder. I was the second best rebounder in the game, if not the best rebounder in the game at some point. My records still stand to this day. 40 boards in Game 7 of the NBA Finals, along with 30 points. Can't nobody else say that they done that. Right? I won the league MVP 5 times. I did do that. Made the All-League defensive team in my last year, which was the first year that it was given out. I was an All-League defender. which means that if it was given out before then, I would have done this plenty of times because I'm arguably the best defensive player in NBA history ever. And what I've done has not been matched. So that's as far as I'm going to go with that.
I get what you're saying with that, with Bill Russell. I just feel like, just quite frankly, I think he dominated his era through wins, but he didn't dominate his era through play. I think he dominated his era because he had a better team than everybody else. If him and Wilt switch places, I got no doubt in my mind Wilt would have 11 rings. No doubt in my mind. Because if he can make the adjustment when he went to go play in LA to be less of a scorer and more of a facilitator and more of a guy that just blends in with the flow of the offense, get your points through the flow of the offense like he had to be in LA, I got no doubt in my mind if you put him with Bob Cousy and Havlicek later on and Bill Sharman and KC Jones, AC Jones, and the whole whip appeal, all 8 of the Hall of Famers that he had on his squad, there's no doubt in my mind that Wilt Chamberlain would have made the same adjustments. So it was basically like us versus me or them versus me. You know, that was the situation. So I don't want to say Bill Russell dominated his era. I just want to say he was in a great situation, and he played on the best team, and they were the best team for a long time. Nobody should have snuck no titles in.
He was the best player on those best teams. So
was he? You sure he was better than Cousy? Was he better than Cousy?
I won the league MVP 5 times.
So was he better than Cousy? I mean, shit.
Cool said it. When we got Russ, forget it. It was over for everybody else.
Yeah, because he added an element. The Bulls said it in '96 when we got Rodman. Forget it. It's over with. That was the missing piece. Bill Russell was the missing piece. He wasn't the piece. Bill Russell was a guy that was giving you 16 and 20. 20 rebounds. Why, though? Because the whole league was shooting 40%, like you said, and everybody was just shooting baskets, shooting shit close to the rim. Goaltending was allowed. That's why both of them got so many blocks, so many rebounds. Goaltending was allowed. You could just go up and snatch the peel out the air. All of this shit. And most of it, nobody was shooting outside shots. So you getting your own tip-ins. If you watch Bill Russell highlights, a lot of it is tip-ins. His own tip-ins. Missing at the rim, getting his own shit, putting it back on some Andre Drummond shit. I'm telling you, bro, like, this man had no skill offensively. All his skill came defensively and used his athletic ability to score offensively, which isn't an issue. If Bill Russell shot 50% from layups, 48% from layups, at least like Wilt Chamberlain, I wouldn't even be complaining about it. I'd be like, okay, whatever. But then again, if he shot 48%, he would have averaged 22 points instead of what he was averaging for his career. And 22 and 22 looks way better than 17 and 21 or 20, whatever he's averaging. I mean, that's just my gripe with him. He won all them championships because he was on the best team, and he damn sure he might not even been the best player on the team. Like that's just keeping it a buck. I don't know. That's just me though. You dig? But I want to get into this triple-double conversation. Joker, it seems like today the triple-double has been the stat that everybody's trying to chase. Everybody want to get a triple-double. You guys come out here, you say, oh, triple-double. Triple-doubles used to be congratulated. They used to have a thing called the Jason Kidd triple-double, which was the 10, 10, and 10. Kidd was known for hovering around, 13 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists. Now it's quote-unquote called the Draymond Green triple-double. Or the triple singles, some may call it. But triple-double seems to be the stat that everybody's getting. For instance, right, Mr. Russell Westbrook made it famous. He leads the league, NBA history, most triple-doubles in NBA history, broke Oscar Robertson's record. For instance of how this stat has become overvalued and overhyped. Nikola Jokic has 15 triple-doubles this season, leading the league in triple-doubles, right? 15 of them. Jordan was a pretty well-rounded player. He only has 28 for his career. Jordan has 28 for his career. This guy has 15 this year. Second is DeJounte Murray with 11. So it's like my question was, does getting a triple-double insist that you are all-around player? Like, does it make you by the masses considered to be a great all-around player? Now, even if you're just looking at it from the offensive side of the ball, like just offensively, does it make you a great all-around player in your eyes?
It depends. It depends. It depends on what it leads to. That's the more important thing with me. So, for example, you just talked about Joker, 15 triple doubles, one game over 500. One game, that's it. One game over 500 with the triple double. Russ, the year he won the league MVP, which was the 16-17 season, and then the next year after that, which he also led the league in triple double. So in that 2-year span, right, Russ, 54 and 15. That was his record, right? Now that's pretty good.
That's damn.
But then I got Jordan, who in the 88-89 season, Mike had 15 triple doubles that year. One game over 500. One. Luka got 8 triple doubles this year. 6 and 2 in those 8 games. Right? So it depends on what it's translating to. If it's translating to wins, then it matters. But I can't. What I don't get into is I don't get into the stat pattern. So when you talk about Russell Westbrook being 54 and 15 in 2 years when he has a triple double, well, I'm clearly not stat padding because the stuff that I'm doing is translating to wins. So my team needs those rebounds that I'm getting. My team needs those assists that I'm getting. My team needs those points that I'm getting. So that stuff clearly is moving us into winning games. Now with Jordan, I mean, we 8 and 7. Now we got to take under consideration that the Eastern Conference was a nightmare. And not only was the Eastern Conference a nightmare, I had to do way more in addition to scoring the basketball. And I wasn't averaging this throughout the entire season. I only did this for a short period of time. It wasn't like I gave you 30 triple doubles in a season. I only gave you 15, right? So it didn't translate to that many wins. I think that if Jay would have played at that position longer, I think he would have done it more.
I think so.
I will tell you that. I think he would have done it more. But what matters to me is the fact that it leads to something positive. If you just doing it and it's not leading to anything, then it don't matter. Not to me, it doesn't.
That's fair. That's fair enough. So, I don't mind the triple double. I just remember the days when getting a triple double was a big deal. Like when people say, "Oh, damn, such and such had a triple double tonight." Now it's kind of like, yeah, Luka got a triple double in the third. Like that used to be a big deal if a cat, even if it was a Jason Kidd type of triple double. Some guy got 15, 11, and 10. That was a big deal. Russell Westbrook came out here and got 30, 10, and 10, and it's like, damn. I think he changed the whole meaning of the triple-double. That's why the NBA went out of their way, made this man the MVP, even though he was a 6 seed, went against everything they stand for and what the MVP trophy went against all of it, right?
Definitely screwed up.
They just threw everything out the window and gave it to him. Then this man came out here and did it again and again and again. And it's like, we didn't know he was going to do that. We thought this was just a rare occasion. But no, because he figured out the philosophy on it. So, I don't know. I don't think averaging a triple-double or hovering around a triple-double makes you a complete player because it is the defensive side of the ball. Because nowadays I believe triple-doubles are overrated. Is Joker a complete player? Yes. Is Westbrook a complete player? No. No, I don't.
Well, wait a minute, though, Chris. When you say let's shorten it. So when you say complete player, how about a complete offensive player? Not a complete player. So if we're talking about a complete offensive player, I'm going to say yes if it's translating to wins. That's what I care about. If it's not translating to anything, if you're not helping your team move forward, then I can't say that because it's not it doesn't equate to anything. If I'm out here and I'm 26, 13, and 11 and we 10 games under 500, well, how is that really helping us? Because maybe my big guy should be rebounding more. Maybe people that I'm running with should be finishing more. Or maybe I shouldn't be the distributor. Maybe somebody else should be the distributor. Maybe we need another 2-guard because what we got going on here isn't working. So if what you're doing isn't translating to winning, I can't say that being a triple-double machine makes you a complete offensive player. No, because if it's not translating to winning, it doesn't matter.
That's fair enough. I ain't mad at that. Unc, in your opinion, what's the best team in the league?
Phoenix.
Why?
And I stand on that. They're the most complete team in the game. They got, when you talk about them defensively, right? Just not even defensively. You talk about them offensively. They're in the top 5 in the league overall in rebounding. They're in the top 5 in the league in assists, right? They're in the top 3 in the league they're in the top 3 in the league in field goal percentage.
Sauce asked you a question.
Sorry. Can someone explain? Can you explain what 500 means? 500 means that if we played 20 games, we won 10 and we lost 10. So however many games you play, if you split down the middle, that's 500. Yep. So
But yeah,
like I was
Phoenix.
saying, yeah. So like I said, Phoenix, and then when you go to the defensive side of the ball, they're in the top 5 in everything. They're in the top 5 in guarding the three, which I think is a big deal because you consider how difficult it is to guard the three ball. They fourth in the league in that. They're in the top 2 in the game in assists defensively. That means that you're not getting whatever you want. And they got 7 guys. Now remember, Chris Paul is out the lineup. They got 7 guys that's averaging double figures. When I look at Bismack Biyombo, adding him to the lineup, getting Torrey Craig back, because remember, they ended up trading him away. Getting him back, that's going to be huge for them. Absolutely. And so now you got Cameron Payne, who's one of the best backups in the league, right? You got Cam Johnson, who's coming into his own as a player.
Like him.
I do too. I absolutely like Cam Johnson. Him coming into his own as a player. Now, they got 24 games left. The Warriors are 6.5 games out. The Warriors have an incredible opportunity because Phoenix won last night against Oklahoma City, and Book looked really good, right? The Warriors have a great opportunity to make up some of this gap that they have because Chris Paul is out the lineup. He's going to be out the lineup for 2 months, 24 games. But I think that they can sustain this and continue to roll with what they got. You know how I feel about DeAndre Ayton. I love him. I think they should involve him in the offense more. When I see what they're doing, I think that they're the most complete team in the game.
Facts. I got no doubt about that. But I ain't worried about it because the best team is the Chicago Bulls. You see what it is over here. Come on now. What you thought I was going to pick somebody different? We the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. We got DeMar DeRozan, and we doing this without the Caruso. Caruso is out, and he's a valuable piece of this puzzle. We doing it without Pat Williams, and we getting both of these pieces by defensive juggernauts. Pat Williams is a dog defensively at the 3 and the 4. I'm telling you. Now, we get a guy, and on top of that, we just signed Double T. Double T looked good last night. He looked good last night. Offensive rebound, somebody that could crash the glass, because Tony Bradley was Gabricio coming off the bench. Every time Vooch come out of the game, it's free cheese. He was garbage. In the words of my man Stacey King, it was free cheese. Real talk. So, we got Double T, who was on the offensive glass. He's energy. Stacey King say, hey, he's a Rodman type of player. He's the guy that's going to do all the dirty work. He's going to set some big body Miyagis, which is screens. He's going to grab some offensive rebounds. He's going to be all over the glass. I love the addition of Double T to this team, man. Tristan Thompson's going to be of big value to the Chicago Bulls. This is what we was missing. And I think this is what's going to put us over the top. Somebody that can slow it and beat down. We get Pat back. We get Caruso back. Oof, Lonzo.
And Chris, listen, we gotta have this talk. I was fighting it for quite some time, but we gotta have this conversation. DeMar might be the league MVP.
Another game.
And you've been talking to me about this for months, and I can dig it. You've been talking to me about this for quite some time, absolutely. But I gotta say that we realistically have to have this conversation, and I have to no longer entertain it. And I got to get serious about the fact that DeMar DeRozan might be the league MVP. When I look at what he's done, now don't get me wrong, the knock is I got a dude on your crew doing basically the same thing
in and out of the lineup
that he's doing. But that's the problem, the fact that he in and out the lineup. But when I look at what DeMar DeRozan is doing, and when those dudes is in and out the lineup, he's basically holding this thing together with tape and glue, and he plugging holes. Meanwhile, they still at the top of the Eastern Conference. Said that it was Giannis's award to lose. I'm loving what Embiid is doing, right? Joker, his team isn't high enough. If Chris Paul wasn't hurt, Chris Paul is at the top of the list. But ultimately, we have to seriously have this conversation about DeMar DeRozan. Not being in the conversation. No. It's the difference between being in the conversation and actually being that guy.
He should be leading the candidacy.
We have to have this conversation that he is the league MVP. We have to.
It's just it's straight like that. Another game winner. And it's like, what's crazy? I don't want to say this, but damn it, I'm going to say it. Last night when I'm watching this game and I saw that we was down 1 with 25 seconds left on the clock, and I seen DeMar get the ball and he brought the peel up, I'm like, we about to win this game. I had that confidence like I used to have knowing the shot clock was going down and Jordan had the ball. We about to win. The whole arena knows it's going to DeMar. The whole arena knows it's going to Jordan. And I have that confidence in my heart that we are about to win this game. I didn't even have that for D-Rose. I have that for DeMar now. When the game is close, 1 point game, 2 point game, tie game, it don't matter. DeMar's got the peel. Nobody's talking about what he did yesterday to get himself open to create that shot, right? It was so complex but simple at the same time because it's like, oh, he just did a turnaround shot. No, he knew the double team was going to come from the strong side. So what he did was penetrate that way and actually force the double team to draw earlier than he wanted to because he saw Herder's eyes like getting big, like I'm supposed to trap this fool, and I can't wait till he gets to his spot. Because traditionally, when you got that much time on the clock and you got a guy that's handling the ball, you want to bring that double when he goes into his set to get him to get rid of the ball, pick up his dribble, get rid of the ball. If you try to trap him with a live dribble, he might be able to get out of that situation. We know DeMar's going to take this shot, so you want to bring it. You don't want to bring it early. You want to bring it right at the right time, right? DeMar saw where it was coming from. He dribbled towards Herder, so he would create enough space to spin back the other way because he knew how he was going to evade it. He dribbled towards him, spun back, and got a clean look, and it was switched. Like it was just something. It's his IQ.
I think he got. Well, first of all, we're talking about a dude who's been in the league for over 10 years. That's number one. Number two, I think that he's got 8 games where he's averaged over 30 a game and shot over 50%. Jordan can't say. Yeah, Jordan can't say that. Chamberlain, I think Chamberlain, the only guy who can say that he did that.
He did it 7 times.
Only Chamberlain. So, like I said, when I look at what he's been doing,
Jordan can say he's got 35 plus points consecutive. Only 7 people can say that.
I got stuck on what I got stuck on was
LeBron is on that list.
Yes, sir. What I got stuck on is I got stuck on Chamberlain. I'm not Chamberlain. I'm sorry. I got stuck on KD doing what he was doing. I got sucked into Curry early, and I got sucked into Giannis. I wasn't really paying much attention. To Joker, but I should have been. But I started to, and I definitely wasn't paying a lot of attention to DeMar because I didn't think that the Bulls. And the reason why is because I didn't think the Bulls would be that good. I didn't, and not only did I not think that they would be that good, I didn't think that they would be that good on the strength of him. I knew who he was. We talking about a dude who's 22, 23 a night, but buckets, no question about it. I did not see this coming. No, I didn't.
28,
and like I said,
5-5, shooting 52% from the field and 34% from three, which is a career high.
If he would have won the league MVP, I wouldn't be like, yo.
Number one seed in the Eastern Conference. Do we got the best record in the league, or does that Phoenix?
Phoenix got the best record in the league. But y'all right there, though. Y'all ain't that far off from them. Y'all not that far off from them.
And we got a 2-game lead. We got a 2-game lead on first this time. Miami
2.5.
Miami
2.5.
So we in great position right now, and I love everything my team is offering. We're not even fully healthy, and I love this addition of Double T. I'm telling you, he's gonna be the game changer, especially in the playoffs. We asked somebody with some playoff pedigree, some championship experience. I love it, man. He got some shit to tell these cats about what to expect in those big games. He's seen it all, done it all. But if you would consider a surprise team, who's your surprise team?
Oh, that's easy for me. That's Cleveland. I had Cleveland on the outside looking in at a playoff picture, and they're 2 games out of first place in the Eastern Conference right now. They tied for third. And I know a lot of people talk about Monty Williams as coach of the year, Eric Spoelstra. He's got to get consideration for being coach of the year. But I think it's Bernie Bickerstaff. For what he's done with this Cleveland team, where they've got, with the exception now, Sexton is out the lineup and Rubio is out the lineup. With them 2 in the lineup, they would have 9 guys averaging double figures. Yeah. 9. That's which impressive. Is nuts to me, right? Not only do they have 9 guys averaging double figures. Never have I seen that in all of my days. They would have 9 guys averaging double figures. Not only that, the addition of what Kevin Love has been doing. We're talking about 14 and 7 off the bench. Chris, I thought he was washed. I ain't gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was washed. I thought that everything that you got out of him, that was it. Good luck trying to move that contract. And he looks like one of the better bench players in the game.
Yeah.
I'm loving what Markin is doing. I think that Mobley's going to be a franchise player. Jared Allen could very well make the All-League defensive team. I think he will. Garland, I think he's going to be an all-star at least if he continues doing what he's doing. And the Cleveland Cavs, which, by the way, they got a bunch of young guys, so they ain't really paid nobody yet. So they can hold on to these guys for quite a while, right? So with that being said, I'm looking at Garland. I think that he could be an all-star perennially. I don't think that this is a one-hit wonder. I think he's going to be around for a long time.
I do too.
Right? Now you get Karis LeVert in the lineup. Now Karis LeVert going to be out for a week because he sprained his foot, but that's fine. But there's
What
that
else is new with
17.
him? That's the problem with him.
Where's that 7? There's that 17, 18 a game that you didn't have that now you need. Now, Okoro playing behind him, I love what they're doing in Cleveland, which is why, and you know how I feel about James, which is why when I hear the rumble and, James might be coming back to Cleveland, my man, stay away. Nope, I'm not interested. And you know why I'm not interested? I'm not interested because we doing something, yo. Yeah. We doing something here, and I'm not interested in breaking that up or screwing that up. That don't mean that I don't love James. You know how I feel about James. But we got something going on here, my man, and I don't want to screw it up.
OG Simba says, what do you think about James Harden since he quit on the Nets mid-season? The difference about I just don't like the player movement is cool as long as you do it the right way. LeBron set the precedent on player movement, giving guys freedom to do what the hell they want to do with their careers in the middle of his prime. If you pay attention to that new commercial he's got out, when he asked them, do I have what it takes? He said, you're going to have to make your own calls. That stuck out to me when he said that because that's something that he had to call his own shots, which is cool, whatever. He got a lot of flack for it, but he did it the right way. He was a free agent. Kevin Durant did it the right way. He was a free agent. Ben Simmons did not do it the right way, and I think that needs to be penalized. James Harden, twice, did not do it the right way. I think that needs to be penalized. That's frowned upon. I do not like crying and pouting about a situation that you asked to be in and then forcing your way
not
out.
Not only asked to be, and you demanded that.
Right.
What happened in Houston, when you saw him in Houston, right before he got traded to Brooklyn, how heavy do you think he was?
Shit, I thought it was a bodysuit.
That's what I thought. He looked to me like he was at least 240.
Yeah.
At least.
I thought it was a bodysuit.
That tells me right then and there that that's completely and utterly unprofessional. I might not want to be here. But you know what I am going to do? Or let me rephrase that. I might not want to be here, but let me tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to not do my job. I am going to show up to work every day, and I'm going to show up to work, and I'm going to do my job. This dude shows up to work constantly out of shape, and then he goes to Brooklyn, which, by the way, I think he was not tricked into that. He was talked into that situation.
I think so.
And what I mean when I say talked into that situation, I feel like the same way with Bruce Arians. That's why you saw when Bruce Arians was dealing with AB, how annoyed and disgusted he was because he had that look like, I really didn't want to deal with this dude in the first place, but I let you talk me into this, and this is where we are, but this is what it is. Well, it looked like the same thing with James Harden, where I really didn't want to be here, but I let y'all talk me into this, and here it is. Turns out Irv is a lot more complex than what I thought. KD got hurt. This thing isn't working out the way I thought it was.
That's facts.
I don't think, and not only that, I came from Houston. Now I know state tax. I'm taking half my dough up here in Brooklyn. Come on, man.
I'm out of here.
And the nightlife ain't exactly what I want it to be. Nah, it's cold out here. So you know them things, they ain't around when it's cold out.
Exactly.
In Houston, it's 60.
Fact.
It's 60 degrees in Houston, so they coming out.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I agree, though, man. I agree. But hopefully James Harden is happy in the place that he's at right now. But if I had to pick a surprise team, it'd be the Clippers. These guys are holding on to the AFC with no Paul George over the past few months, no Kawhi Leonard for the entire season. It's been the Reggie Jackson, Marcus Morris show, and these guys have been finding a way to get dubs. I'm giving credit to Ty Lue for that. I think he should be in consideration for Coach of the Year. Probably won't win it, but at least we should be having this discussion because Ty Lue has been putting on the clinic, keeping these boys afloat until PG returns, and potentially the winning could entice Kawhi to maybe come back because, it is what it is. But shout out to the Clippers, man, and they got a 3-game lead on the 9th seed, which is the LA Lakers. So it's not like they fringe 8th seeders. No, they the legitimate 8th seeders. So they're gonna probably have to participate in the play-in because I don't see them. They 2.5 games back of the 6th seed. I don't see them getting that. So they might have to, play a game or two in a play-in, but just the simple fact that they in this position at this point in of the season, this late, like no Kawhi all year, no Paul George the last 2 months, that's tough, man. Shout out to Ty Lue, and that's my surprise team right now. Real quick, Unc, if you had to start a franchise with one player in the NBA, not history, just right now, current NBA, one player that's 25 and under, and pair him with one player that's 35 and over, what 2 players would you pick to start your franchise with?
Well, when I'm looking at the young guys in the game, my favorite player 25 and under is Jason Tatum, right? And my favorite player 35 and over is James. Now, does that mean that Jason Tatum would be much better learning from James? If I'm starting a franchise where Jason Tatum is my franchise player and LeBron James is my basically mentor to him, I don't think that I could get better than that as opposed to maybe Luka in terms of a young player. I don't think Ja would be that guy because I saw Ja a couple of days ago. Ja, I don't know, man. Y'all might give me a lot of heat for this, but I think Ja might be made of glass. I don't know if he is or not, but I think he might be made of glass. I don't know if he's gonna hold up for 12, 15. I don't think he's going to hold up that long. I think that he might be made it.
His
I think
play
he might
style
be made of
don't
glass.
help.
No, it doesn't, because he's one of those kind of guys. When I think about a guy like Trey, I would love to start a franchise with Trey, but he's small, and I don't know how long I'm gonna get what I can get out of him. But when I look at a guy who I can pair with another guy, and he can learn from this guy and take over the franchise and be that guy when this guy goes, I think that's Jason Tatum and James.
I don't have any argument with that too, and I kind of knew you was going to pick LeBron James. I kind of wanted to disqualify him just to make it a little tougher. So your 2 are going to be better than my 2, but the 2 that I picked, I wanted 2 that complement each other, not just great players on the court. I wanted 2 guys that complement each other and one guy that I think has a few more left in the tank, even though he is older, the above 35 guy, and that's Chris Paul. I know what Chris Paul brings leadership-wise, and I know what he can bring in a pick-and-roll game. His strong points is shooting that mid-range game and defense. Defensively, he's still a great defender, and so is the guy that I chose to pair him with, and that's Bam Adebayo. I think Bam Adebayo has a bright future, and I love them 2 in the pick-and-roll game, pick-and-pop, midi game. He's dominant at the rim, very athletic, offensively and defensively. And I wouldn't mind, even with Chris Paul fading away, us finding a replacement for him, buying us time to find a replacement for him to pair up with a guy like Bam Adebayo, who I think is an easy guy to pair a lot of guys with. You can't say that about Jason Tatum, and you can't say that about LeBron James at this juncture of his career. So I would rather have a guy that can transition well with other players when the 35 and older guy leaves than have a player that is like, who you really going to – who can develop under Jason Tatum? We seeing they having problems with just him and Jaylen Brown. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, damn, like you can't even get it popping with this cat. Like y'all having issues. Like, so then who the hell you going to put in a situation to develop under Jason Tatum who wants to take all the shots? It's going to be hard. So that's my mindset coming in when it came to pairing these guys.
Now remember too. I mean, Boston has won, I think, 11 of their last 12. I want to start there, and I think that a lot of that is because they've gotten better defensively. And not only that, they've gotten better defensively. Those 2 guys look like they're starting to figure out what their roles are. And I think that James, being at the age that he is, he would help this dude with who he is. A prime example would be what's going on with the Warriors. Wiseman needs Draymond Green so much.
Man.
Wiseman absolutely needs him. That's why I'm not ready to step off Draymond yet, because Wiseman needs him. Cat is who he is today because he got that extra year out of KG. 1 year wasn't enough. He needed KG for those 2 years that he had him. He absolutely – when KG was talking about retiring, I was like, Cat needs him for 1 more year. You can't walk away yet. If you could give him 1 more year, You'll be able to turn the franchise over to him, and he'll become that franchise player as opposed to you leaving him after 1 year. He ain't ready yet. I think that with Jason Tatum and James, for Jason Tatum to play under James as a guy that's 25 years under, I think that James would help him so much.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Well, let's get the hell out of here. Questions from the fans. Rein them in. If you got any questions for us, ask us anything.
Yeah.
It ain't got to be about sports. It could be about fashion. It could be about your girlfriend. It could be about your mom pissing you off, your uncle that got drunk at the barbecue last year. It don't matter what you asking about. Just ask us about it. But here go a good one right here. This is a good one. I just seen it. Where the hell is it at? Who's more important to their dynasty, Magic or Duncan?
Well, if you look at what Magic was what you just told me about Bill Russell. They was already a good team with Jamal Wilkes and Norm Nixon and Jabbar. Magic was the difference with that group. Now, when I look at that team with the Spurs, Sean Elliott and Avery Johnson and David Robinson and Mario Elie.
Hey, don't be you saying them names like they bombs.
No, I'm a huge Sean Elliott fan. Hold on, let's start right there.
You naming some like with a nasty face, but you naming low key dogs like some good.
I'm a big Sean Elliott. I'm a big Sean Elliott fan, but they wasn't the Lakers. Nah. And I don't think that Magic made the difference that Duncan made with that. He turned them into contenders. That Laker team. They was already playoff bound. I mean, they was in the Western Conference Championship at one point. They lost to the Trailblazers. With that being said, I'm looking at this San Antonio team. There's a reason why they had the second pick. Now I know Dave Robinson got hurt that year. I know that Sean Elliott had gotten hurt. I do know that, but they had guys like Jerome Kersey. They had rotation guys. They didn't have guys who were like that. So when I think about the difference that Duncan made and the fact that he came in right from the beginning and turned them into that, and they were a lesser team than the Lakers, I absolutely think it's Duncan.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was on the back end of his career, and yeah, they had James Worthy and they had Michael Cooper and they had a decent little roster over there. I think if I had to take the dynasty-changing guy, it would be Magic over Duncan. 5 championships. I mean, I think 3 out of the 5 he won Finals MVP, and it's like, not only a franchise dynasty changer, but he changed the entire course of the league. So I'm definitely going with Magic Johnson in that situation, man. Like,
I'll tell you what, real quick, and I know that y'all got some questions. I heard Charles Oakley say that Giannis would be a rotation player today.
Oak
that's what I want to.
Oak said that?
That's all I'm going to say about that. Giannis would be a rotation. He said a bench player, a.k.a. he'd be a rotation player.
In the 80s or the 90s?
During his time, when he was running around in his prime.
Okay.
Yes, he said that. I just want to put that out there, my man.
That's
what I said.
I hate when these guys do that, man.
Right.
Like, I really do, man. Like,
and I'm doing, and that's the era that I grew up in, right? I grew up in the late 70s, early 80s, 90s. Giannis would not be a rotation player. Giannis would be doing the same thing. Yes, the same thing he's doing today. He would be doing the same thing back then. You nuts.
I hate Giannis's game suits his era more than it does today's era. So why the hell, who was 250 pounds running around dunking on everybody head top? Nobody was that size at that height with that speed, quickness, strength, and athleticism. Nobody in the 80s or the 90s had that. Sean Kemp comes to mind, but he's more of a Blake Griffin than a Giannis Antetokounmpo.
And add that to the fact that Giannis put on 45 pounds of diesel from his rookie season. It ain't like Giannis is just rail thin like KD. No, Giannis got in the gym and was like, I can't compete at this size. He was barely 200 pounds when he came in. He's over 240 now.
Yes.
Stop playing, O. Stop playing,
You
O.
tripping.
You
hard. Start bench cut.
You wild with that.
Booker, Mitchell, Levine. I'm going to go start Levine, bench Booker, cut Mitchell.
Hey, knock it off with it. You such a homer. I swear to God.
Damn
dude
right.
Over here. Let me tell you about my nephew, y'all.
Levine
my nephew
better than both of them. Real talk. Just because DeMar doing what he doing don't mean you forget about what Levine did last year. Levine was 27, 5, and 4 on damn near 50, 40, 90 efficiency splits. Don't forget what that man did.
We're talking about Zach LaVine. He was in the talk for being an All NBA performer.
Right.
He made that argument.
Damn near 50, 40, 90.
Performer. Yeah, I can't fight that. No, I won't. I will not fight that. Chris Godwin and AJ Brown. When Chris Godwin is healthy, I think he's a solid number 2. No doubt about it. I think AJ Brown and a lot of people will. I think AJ Brown is washed. I do.
Ooh.
I think he washed. I was really high on him. You and I had this conversation before the season started. I was really excited about him, but he disappointed me with what he was. I expected, especially considering D Hop was out. Yeah. I expected a lot more from him than I got, and I'm good on AJ Brown.
Let's see. Lakers not making the playoffs. Yeah, it's very.
That ain't ridiculous, yo.
That's
not ridiculous. That is not ridiculous.
Let me see who we got. Chase or Jefferson, man. Jamal.
Don't ask him that. Anybody with Jamal Chase, don't ask him about it.
I'm gonna say Chase. Look. That's not. But this is not a new take. When they was both in college, I said Jamar Chase is better than him. Then Jefferson came out a year before Chase, got drafted. Oh, you see, had a hell of a rookie season. And I said, pipe down, because there's somebody coming out next year who's not only better than him, but he will have a better season. I'm on record saying this shit. Y'all can look this shit up. I said, man, you tripping, you tweaking, you crazy. Yeah. Go look at what Jamar Chase did. Go look at what he did. I told you. Real talk. Like, I knew he was better. But we're going to get the hell on up out of here, y'all. It was a great time, man. Great time. I had a great time on the podcast. Shout out to the loyals on YouTube. Drop a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Shout out to the loyals over here. I appreciate y'all stopping in with us on this Friday night. Y'all didn't have to be here. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with us. So we appreciate that.
Hey, my fault. Real quick, my fault. It's not AJ. I think AJ Green is washed, not AJ Brown. I apologize. I think AJ Green.
Yeah, I
is
assume
washed.
that's who you was talking about when I heard
that's
you
who
say
I'm talking
D-Hop.
about. Not AJ Brown. Yeah, I'm not AJ Green. I think he's washed. So my fault.
So, but yeah, like, I appreciate y'all, man. We love y'all, man.
Yeah.
We gonna get the hell up out of here. W's in the chat. If you enjoyed yourself, take us home.
Until then, take it light, but take it.
We out.